First, Environment Secretary Therese Coffey has been widely slammed for saying that people need to eat more turnips to avoid veg shortages during winter, and for encouraging those struggling to afford their food bills to get into work, to work more hours and get upskilled to get a higher income. As I say, Jane, she has been kind of slammed for this. Is she being insensitive here, or is she just laying it on the line?
Well, it depends on which angle you go in on. So I would like to defer to my colleague Nadia Sawala on the joy of the turnip.
I feel a bit sorry for turnips, if I'm honest. I mean, I didn't realise this country was so against them. Every radio station, they're dressing them up, they're taking the pill out.
I had to show her a picture of one. I had to Google it. I didn't know what it was.
But
no, I thought they were orange, but that's Swedes, right?
But the turnip is the most wonderful vegetable, and though she was very clumsy, the point she was making was, we're chasing after tomatoes and cucumbers that we just don't have. And we're all being a bit silly because they're very expensive. Listen, take a turnip, right?
Oh, my God. Listen, can I just say to everyone out there, we've had this all morning.
I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to give you this recipe free. Grate a carrot, grate a turnip, put some little fresh ginger, some sesame or a sweet rice vinegar. You've got the most gorgeous salad.
Oh, my God.
People who don't know whether...
cookbook.
Yeah.
Hang on, that's not middle class.
It is.
It is. Come on.
All right, we'll use red wine, but use sauce.
Don't you just boil them and mash them up?
We can do that.
Isn't that what you do?
But let's go back to Therese Coffey.
On the serious side, listen, if my mum was listening to the thing about eating seasonally, which is what I think she was sort of saying, my mum would go, well, yeah, that makes perfect sense, because that was my whole childhood. We ate seasonally. Yeah. There was no other choice, you know.
But we are in 2023.
We are,
Times have moved on and people are really, really strapped for cash. And someone like Therese Coffey standing up and saying, eat turnips and work more to get more money, what good is that doing?
Well, as somebody said online today, which I thought was quite funny, she said, yes, turnips are a very versatile and economic vegetable, and we should replace the entire cabinet with them. And,
that's what I mean. Let's power in the turnip.
and no one will deserve it. but the more serious point, the thing that did make me think it was very out of touch was her sort of fairly cavalier attitude to working hours, which was just like, well, if you can't afford this, work a few more hours, upskill as though it's the most simple thing in the world.
Yeah.
You know, get more money. That is not how the world works at the moment.
Yeah, but it's rich coming from them, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's rich coming from a government that literally robs you every time you do any work of taxes and then throws it down the drain.
We all have to pay our taxes.
Great. I know everyone has to pay their tax, but they want more and more. And don't forget that people who are on benefits and want to work, if they do more hours than they are allowed to do, they get their benefits taken away. So
But the other thing about this is, which was so clumsy, and yet again, every time the government speaks to the people, it feels like they understand nothing. It's like the people that are really going to hear that are the people that are running 2 jobs, can't afford childcare, doing as many hours as God can send. Every time I go to the supermarket, the prices have gone up. And it's like they don't hear that.
Yeah, I know.
No, but most people, there are no more hours to work.
No, I know. I mean, I thought exactly. I mean, I've got one friend in particular who works in social care, and my God, does she work? You know, so hard in a really important and difficult job. You know, and will work all the hours that they'll give her. And I just think of her listening to that. You're going to want to throw a turnip at the telly, quite frankly.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, you really, really
But
are.
I think if she'd stood up and said, we appreciate we're making it very difficult and we're going to try and change legislation, we're going to make it easier to work more hours for extra money, we're going to help you to upskill with, you know, training schemes and stuff like that, and we're going to put pressure on employers to up money, blah, blah, blah. That would have made more sense, but this just kind of putting the onus onto people who are already struggling.
Create incentives for people to work rather than just the more they work, the more tax they have to pay. And then you watch the government and what they do with it, and it's just infuriating. It's like, no wonder people are just losing the will to live when it comes to working.
It was the most disastrous speech, really, when you think
Well, we do have a right of reply from Therese
idiots.
Coffey,
Oh, God.
and it says she was talking about how people who want to work more should have the option to work more with support from the government, enable for them to do that, such as childcare.
Yeah, well, you're saying it.
She
You're saying
categorically
it. You're
did not say
doing
that
it.
people should work more. So, I mean, it's interesting that they've come out with that correction, but also interesting saying that people should have support in terms of childcare, because the cost of childcare is unbelievable. I mean, it's half term across a lot of the country at the moment. And I mean, some of the, well, I've got it here, registered childminder, 50 hours for a child under 2, £227 a week. And I know that people will have
What one of our
bigger numbers
producers
like
said
that.
today, it's £1,000 a month for 3 days. You know, we're desperate for that workforce and we don't support women. I think in Germany it works out about £1,500 a year.
But how many governments have said they're going to sort this out and they don't?
And they
you
don't.
You look at women's earnings at 29, they go off a cliff. Why? Because on average that's when they have kids, and then they come out of the workplace and they find it hard to get back in. But
I know Carol's dying to talk about that, but let's not.
but yesterday I saw this whole thing about, you know, bringing your... I went to buy my friend, who's been through a tough time, some flowers, and there was a florist near me, and there's like 3 women that work in there, and one of them had brought her 5-year-old son with her, and I don't know why, because I think school was on, maybe he was poorly or whatever. But she was trying to do these flowers, just like, and she kept going, sorry, hang on. No, put the scissors down. No, right, sorry, yes. No, come back in. And she was just like constantly, and I thought, oh my God, poor woman. She's trying to work and deal with this sort of little, you know, and it's impossible.
Little person, yeah, that's just not a goer at all.